my name is Jeiso and I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a musician and a life coach, and anything that involves adding value and making impact.
So where is it you come from?
I come from Nigeria. I was born there in a city called Jos in Plateau State. It's somewhere in the middle of Nigeria, right towards the center. It's a very cool place.
When roughly did you come to the UK?
I came roughly about 17 years ago when I was 11. You know, it was straight from Nigeria to Birmingham Airport, straight to this Brummie accent.
What was the main cultural differences you noticed in the move from Nigeria to Birmingham?
Cultural differences. Well, the food was definitely different. You know what I mean, when you eat African food, especially Nigerian food, there's a lot of smells, flavors, textures that are going on. And you know, as soon as I got here, I think the first thing I ate was a McDonald's. That was my introduction to landing in the UK. So the food was definitely different. Music, I guess, because we all listen to American music, most of us as well, I think that was okay. Grime and kind of garage was new to me. That was like UK music I'd never heard of, so that was new. And I guess compared to African music, is all completely different because the instruments used are different, the rhythm is different and stuff like that. So how people dressed was completely different. I mean, from what I remember when I came, dressing was just about wearing something that was in good condition, and you know, you could tie it up. You know, sometimes you wear extra large, but as long as you can make it hold on your waist and it looked clean and good, hey. When I got here, you know, I realized there was a lot more, you know, people were concerned about the fitting of stuff, the coordination, and all these things. That was like, okay. Yeah, that was kind of some of the main cultural differences anyway.
So like in Nigeria, there isn't as much need for like name clothes, that culture?
Nah, not at all, because you know, half of people's clothes are made from material by the tailor. You get material, go to the tailor, he'll sew you something to your specific needs and wants, and that's it. Like, if you do get something that's branded, it's like, whoa, that's like a big deal. But no one really focuses on that at all, unless they've got people who are in the UK or abroad that are going to be bringing stuff in. And even so, probably people can't afford it unless it's like given to you, like, you know, your family member buys you something. Branding wasn't something that was really in my head.
If you don't mind me asking, how was like Christmas celebrated differently? Was that more or less, because over here obviously it's all about presents for young kids, unluckily nowadays, isn't it?
When I was young, because obviously being an 10-year-old in Nigeria at that time was different to now probably, but Christmas was more about your one outfit. That was it, your one amazing outfit that you'd been waiting all year for, and then, you know, all your family getting together to celebrate. You know what I mean? It wasn't about like individual families staying in their homes, so it was about the whole generation. You know what I'm saying? All your aunties, your cousins, your aunties and uncles, cousins, every extended family. It was a big thing. So we used to all go back to our village where we all come from, and I think almost everybody that's part of my family or connected to my family would be there. And we'll just have a big party, literally like the biggest party of the year. That was Christmas, as well as obviously going to church and praising God, you know, because that's what Christmas really is.
What area did you move to in Birmingham? For the Brummies out there who'll be watching.
I went straight from Nigeria to Stetchford, which is just on the edge of Lee Hall / Sheldon and those areas, but yeah, straight to Stetchford, you know, straight to the bits.
There's a movie in there somewhere, you know that.
Bits.
What school did you go to?
Sheldon Heath Academy. No, I'm lying. Sheldon Heath Academy is where it is now. At that time, it was just Sheldon Heath Technology School, college. That's what it was.
When you was in school, what was your ambition? Did you have like the business mind while you was in school, or is that something that you developed later on?
I think that was something that came later on. When I was in school, I was more really into the arts, so drama, performing arts, and anything that enabled me to either sing, rap, act, comedy, fashion, anything that was creative really. I loved art as well, so I was very an artistic, creative based person when I was in school till I got to college, and I decided to take business rather than anything to do with the arts, because I felt like I could do anything with the arts outside. I'll do creative stuff outside So I used college and uni opportunity to study something that I didn't feel like I could just learn outside of education. So.
And what university did you go to?
DMU in Leicester, the Mumford University.
And what was it you studied in university?
I did business and marketing, so I felt like that was the complete package, like learn about business and also how to market. That's exactly kind of what you need in it.
That is of importance, isn't it, in any business?
Yeah. That was a really popular, cool uni, a lot of ethnic people there. It was really cool to mix with such a diverse group of people, because you know Leicester's a multicultural city as well, isn't it? So I really enjoyed uni.
Can you name me one of the most shocking things that you saw in university? A random story off your head.
Even though I enjoyed uni, I wasn't like a wild uni person. Like I spent most of my time in my room making beats and stuff. Most interesting thing I'll say is next to my uni there was a youth center, and in that youth center they had a music studio, loads of cool stuff in there. And before I went to uni, I was really worried about my music and how I'd be able to keep doing it and stuff. And it was weird. As soon as I got there, next door to me was a whole center full of resources and the nicest people ever. So I spent my time in both places.
Like attraction right there, isn't it?
It's like law of attraction for real. And again, I got to learn some stuff there, meet some cool people. I practiced my table tennis skills quite a bit there as well.
Table tennis?
Kids for my ass. I'm decent, you know.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm Forrest Gumping it.
I love some table tennis. That's one of my favorite sports. I kind of went with the business option, and then I kind of fell in love with business at the same time.
That's in the blood, isn't it?
Yeah, no, 100%. I feel like I've always had some kind of business foundation in my head anyway, even from Nigeria, moving over here. So I think it was more of an ignition, if anything. It sparked it.
More like a plan just to make things better.
Definitely.
And you said you did the arts in school. Out of pure curiosity, could you name some of the acts that you have done in school?
We did quite a few little bits and bobs, because you know how they do it. Every quarter you've got different things going on. But the main one that I remember was being the main character in a musical called Grease. But I played Danny in Grease, which was quite interesting because I've never seen a black Danny with an afro. So, but you know, credit to my drama teachers, because you know they took a big leap of faith and did something that no one's ever done, and you know just put aside the race and all that stuff and the look, and just went with who was best for the role, and I guess I was.
When was your first musical memories? What's the furthest back you can remember, like feeling music and be like, oh, what's this?
Do you know what? I know exactly that one. My sister bought 2 albums. I think it was Gareth Gates and Will Young.
Oh wow!
That was a long time ago, and not that I was even that interested in it. I just remember just listening to her play this song by I think it was Will Young, and it was just a beautiful song. I can't remember being like 12, 13, just like sitting in my room, like deep in how amazing this song is and how meaningful it was. And it just got to me, man. I was like, I would love to create a piece of music that was that touching. And after she went out, I went and played it again and listened to it, and it just inspired me. So I just wanted to start making music, but I didn't know where to start or how. So I started listening to the other stuff, the Chris Brown, Kanye West, Nelly, everything, 50 Cent, Eminem, obviously, and that got me into starting to practice music, and actually when we're starting to write stuff down or trying to sing it out. That was kind of where it all started.
So for you, the attraction was emotion?
Emotion was the main thing. If I didn't feel that song that day, I don't know if I would be so into music as I've become.
And is that something that is extended to how you approach music now? Yeah,
definitely. If anything, it's one of the major things that I'm trying to focus on when it comes to making music. I know it's taken a long time, of course, but it's a journey you go on to get into where you really want to be when it comes to what you're trying to achieve.
Okay, so tell me about your new EP, the 6-6 EP.
There's another emotional kick, I think. I was going through, 1 or 2 emotional situations. Being busy and doing business, you don't get time for your emotions to really deep them, and I think that was having a bit of a toll on me, so I decided, let me go into the studio and see if I can just get my mind off that and try and just be creative, because I know that deep down within me, creativity, especially in music, is something that really boosts my happiness, makes me really feel alive. So that just ignited something, and all of a sudden there was this flood of ideas that was coming out, and I decided, you know what, this is a great time to get a piece of work out.
And why did you call the EP the 6/6 EP?
It's a date of birth. It's the 6th of June, which is actually my daughter's birthday.
I was going to ask you about the artwork.
I had a picture of my daughter and handprints and footprints in my living room, and I walked past and I was like, wait, I thought that is quite powerful. So that's her actual real handprint.
Oh, that's beautiful. What made you want to open up a nightclub?
When I finished uni, in fact before I finished uni, I knew I wanted to go into business. So I kind of tried to save up as much as I could to give myself the best shot of at least being able to start something. So when I met my business partner at the time, Leon, when I finished uni about a couple of months after, eventually came up with this idea about opening a club, because he was doing events and it would be great to open a club so we could do the events there and make double money, which is, you know, amazing. So I was like, yeah. So we went ahead and done that, and we opened Tea Bar. And you know, unfortunately that lasted a year, being new into business and making mistakes and all that stuff. And since then I kind of tried to do other stuff in between: snack up, dessert parlors, online businesses, all sorts. Constantly new ideas, trying to see what and how we can make things work. Eventually we came to a point where we realized there was a gap in the market in the nightlife still, and it was also a great opportunity for us to redeem ourselves, obviously after, let's say, failing on the first venture that we did. That's how we ended up with creating the idea for 101. We wanted to bring something new to the market that would rejuvenate the whole Birmingham nightlife scene, because it was non-existent. People from out of town just didn't come to Birmingham. There was nothing to do.
So, like, obviously it goes without saying that 101 is a huge success right now.
I'm about to be at 101.
101 Club, Birmingham. Where the fuck you at?
101 in Birmingham.
The 101 Club. 101 Nightclub in Birmingham. 101 Nightclub.
101 Nightclub.
Club 101 in Birmingham.
Club 101 Birmingham tonight.
101 in Birmingham this Saturday.
Club 101 tonight, Birmingham.
101 motherfuckers, sit down!
Do you think like the failure was a big factor into making you who you are now?
Yeah. It's like when you train to be a boxer or fighter or something, you have so many spars, you know, where you get punched, sometimes knocked out, you get hurt, all that, but what it does, it conditions you into that environment, so by the time you have a big fight, you're not scared of getting punched or getting hit, or, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those little businesses, even though, you know, they were all over the place, some of them worked for a bit, some of them failed, some of them was smart but just not the right time. All that stuff was a learning curve, and every single experience would teach you something and also condition you to failure and risk tolerance. So by the time we get to something as big as 101, even though we didn't know it would be that big, you know, to dream that big and do it with confidence, you have to have taken away a certain element of your risk tolerance, because if you can't risk enough, you're not going to get. Sparring is always going to do two things. It's going to either break you down and make you think, you know, I don't want to do this sport anymore, or it's going to make you just, if you want it bad enough, get over the punches and the pain and just get used to it, just like, that's nothing.
That's a great analogy.
Every time I fail, I learn a big lesson. Eventually all these lessons are going to become one big massive value added into one thing that's going to be.
So do you think if you would have had the idea for 101 finishing university, it would have been what it is now?
No, definitely not. Had to go through those experiences. It was imperative, because what you don't want to do is have the biggest idea in the world and flop it hard.
But it's great to see that there's now like a benchmark in Birmingham. If you would have told yourself in 2002 that when you was this age, you would have chilled with most of the people who you was probably looking up to at that time, having them visit you, do you think that you would have believed that?
Nah. I don't think so. And you know, the vision could have been completely different. When it's your time, it's perfection. There's no other word to describe it. Perfection.
Stars align, all that lot.
100%. It's not just trying the same thing over and over again. It's trying it again and changing the formula.
How has 101 handled the corona at the minute?
Yeah, we did a live stream actually the other day with one of our best DJs, Jamski, and we did a live stream for, I guess, our audience and our people, just to keep the energy and the culture alive, and just to let people know that, listen, we haven't gone to sleep. We're still thinking and scheming, and we've got ideas. We're still here. You know, some of our regulars, I'll say, were all in the live, and we just had a good time. To be honest, I was partying, I was dancing in the living room. It was great. So I felt like I was out. You know, when you get deprived of something so much, even partying on a live stream is better than just sitting there. So a lot of people enjoyed it.
If I had one day to sit in a room with anybody, I'd choose
Napoleon Hill.
And why?
Because he's the greatest philosopher that I am aware has ever lived, in terms of, you know, mind, body and spirit, you know, understanding of the modern day. Do you know what I'm saying? Greatest philosopher on the planet.
If I wasn't a nightclub owner, I would be?
I would say a life coach / inspirational speaker. That's what I would be. There's no question about it.
If I was given an extra day in the week, how would you spend it?
I'll spend it alone in China with the monks, or in India with the yogis.
So solitude.
Basically, yeah. I'm trying to figure out how I can withdraw from everything, because I feel like that's going to be the key of the future. Not how much we can do, but how much we shouldn't do. We should be working on slowing it down, or moving right back, and just being in solitude and having a minute to ourselves, in our heads, in our spirits, to understand our purpose of being here and connecting with God and the universe.
Great to hear that. You don't hear a lot of people speak about that.
I'm actually going to start my own YouTube channel, and I'm going to be doing some interesting videos on interesting topics, stuff that, you know, will get your brain tingling and making you think a bit further. My next video, I think, it's actually called Trust versus Loyalty.
That had me scratching my head when you put it on your story, and I was like, I think trust comes from loyalty. And then you're like, nah.
It's all opinion anyway. Even what I'm going to put out is my opinion, so I'm not saying it has to be just my opinion, and hopefully it'll make people think, because I feel like a lot of people, they invest or they rely on loyalty so much, but loyalty has a lot of flaws. You know what I'm saying? You should work on trust, and through that you see loyalty grow into an amazing tree. But we'll talk about that in a video. Thank
you very much for attending the interview. I really appreciate how much you've exposed about yourself.
I know. I feel like I should have said all that now. But yeah, where you can find me on Instagram, Jeiso Izan, Jeiso Izan. Thank you for having me. It's been nice.
No, that's great.
Some important stuff. And
I hope to have an update in a few months and see how you have progressed in your life.
Yeah.
Girl, sweet like guava. I wanna tell your father. Me and you, sit inside.